everyone, Amber here for So Majestic. We are on the last month of Flyway where we are putting our blocks together. It is month 9. I am the ambassador for a large phoenix. So this month we have 2 blocks. We have 9A, and you'll have 2 of these. And we have 9B, which we also have 2 of these. So I'm so excited. I always think month 9 is so much fun because we have now built all our blocks for the quilt, and next month is the big reveal. So please follow me on social media or check back in on YouTube. I will post the date and the time. All the ambassadors usually are live or have a pre-recorded video. I plan on being live with Cotton Cuts for the big reveal. It's so exciting. We all display our quilts all put together. It's so much fun to see how the different colorways look, because even though the pattern is the same, depending on the colorway, they can look very, very different. So I'm super excited. I hope you are too. I do have timestamps for each section in the tutorial. As always, if you find it helpful, I would love if you give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. It does help my channel grow, and I appreciate it. Thank you to Cotton Cuts for allowing me to be an ambassador again, and I hope you enjoy the tutorial. All right, it's our last month, month 9, and we're all ready to go. I have my clue. Everything is laid out here. You could see the top of it. I have it laid out in the exact manner. My pressing mat and mini iron. I have the 8012 Microtex, which has been working really well for the batiks, and I'm using regular Gutermann thread. So for this month, we have 2 different blocks. We have 9A and 9B. So I'm going to start with 9A. Our first steps, we are doing the little pinwheel in the center. So I'm going to be dividing all these numbers by 2. The first one, we need to sew C and D small triangles, and we need 8. So I am going to be making 4 of them. And I'm just making sure to lay these out. And that way it just makes it quicker when I'm putting these together. I'm trying to make sure that I have the same sides facing up on each of these. Hopefully when all the blocks come together, it's not super noticeable. All right, so I have my 4, and I am just going to chain stitch them. So start putting them right sides together and lining up their edges. And I'm happy to be chain stitching them because with the small triangles, it's so easy to get it, your fabric stuck down in the feed dogs, getting pushed down. So by chain stitching them, they kind of help pull the next piece together, or pull it through, I should say. And I know in the beginning we have done a block similar to this, and I think we made 2 of them. I'm wondering if these are going to be kind of like on the 4 corners of the quilt. We'll see. Even though I am an ambassador, I do not have, or we don't get access to the final design till right before the big reveal, where we get it a couple weeks usually so we can put it together. Still, let's see. Normally I don't try to guess, try to lay it out, but I don't know, maybe this time I will. I'm always so impressed when people are able to figure it out or come really, really close. But this one's so different from every other quilt. So, all right. So we are pressing to the top left towards our C fabric, which is the orange. So I'm just going to take my time and make sure that I'm not stretching these. All right, so now that I have my 4 pressed open, we are going to be joining them. So I need to rotate my left side so that my C fabric is in the bottom left, and then the right hand side is going to be the same exact way that we just sewed them, with the C fabric in the top left. So you can see it's starting to make the pinwheel shape. So I'm going to fold them right sides together, making sure that I don't accidentally sew the wrong side, because I don't clip them. It's so easy to accidentally turn them around. And same thing here, putting these right sides together. And because they're die cut, they match perfectly, even though they've been sewn together. And I'm just trying to keep them in the same direction that they are in the directions. Okay, and so our seams are going to be pressed towards the right-hand side. So again, just giving it a good press and then gently opening without pulling them. Okay, so this is our step 2. And so now for step 3, we're combining them together. So we are rotating one of them. And you'll know you have it correct because I'm going to follow my C fabric. And I'm just, did I do this reversed? There we go, right? Okay, there we go. I always accidentally mix up, I don't know why, the orange and the red. I mean the orange and the yellow. So I should have C here, C up in the top left, C fabric here, C. All right, so now they're correct. This is what it should look like for yours. Just double check. They're so easy to accidentally mess up. Okay, and so I am just aligning my seams in the center and then to the left and the right. So on bigger pieces like this, I do like to clip them together, always matching up the seams in hopes that they don't accidentally get turned on themselves. Right, and so for this one, our seam is going to be pressed down. So just giving it a good press there and then gently opening it. There is a lot of fabrics in that center, 8 of them. So giving that center a good press first and then pressing out. Okay, so that finishes our step 3. Okay, so now for step 4, I'm going to be making 2 of them. I need 2 large A squares. And I need a C triangle in the top right of each of them. And again, I'm just looking to see which sides I can see the fabric, like the grain of it less. And then 2 small B triangles for the bottom left. And again, just checking to see which sides I think look correct to me. It's so tricky. I know some people say with batiks that there's not a right or wrong side. But I don't know. I feel like there is, it's just less noticeable. Okay, so I'm going to start with the top right, and since I'm sewing 2, I'm going to sew them both at the same time. So I'm lining up my triangle just in the center of my fabric so the edges are hanging off a little. By now, we are economy block experts. I'm so curious what the overall design is going to look like, how these economy blocks are going to be put together. And I'm not going to press these open yet because we're sewing the B triangle on the opposite side. So it won't mess up our seams. So I'm just going to sew both of them and then press at the same time. So again, just lining this up. And same thing over here, putting this right sides together. I love that these are similar, so that way we can make more than one at the same time. It makes it go a little bit quicker. Okay, so now I'll press all 4 of these triangles open, again without tugging them, making sure I'm not stretching them. Okay, and the same on this side. Right. So now for our step 5, we need a D triangle in the bottom right. So that is one of the yellow, and another B triangle in the top left. Again, that's our green. This reminds me of grass, like a spring. I think it's because of the bright colors of it. Okay, and same thing, I'm going to sew one side at a time and then press them open. Now this should line up nicely, centering it. As the blocks get bigger, it's so hard to keep it all in the camera's range. And I did the D fabric first, just so I don't accidentally mess it up, and make sure that my B fabric are both on the same side. Okay, and put them right sides together. And same with the side over here. Okay, and so now I'll do the same thing, pressing each of these open. Right, and the same over here. And then we'll be putting all three of these together. The two that we're making right now and the pinwheel. All right, so these two finish up our step 5. Okay, so now we're on step 6. I'm going to take one of these and move it to the far left, making sure my B fabrics are on the outside. My C triangle should be up top and my D triangle on the bottom. Now I'm going to take my pinwheel and move it to the center. I know that it's lined up correctly. I sewed it correctly because my C fabrics match up and my D fabrics match up. And then for this last block, we're rotating it. So my B fabrics are on the right. And again, we know we did it correctly because our C and D fabrics are matching up. So I'm going to sew it one side at a time. I'm going to put this side right sides together. And try to center this. I'm trying to match up the seam here to the point of this triangle. I'm not so great at it. This is the first time I really had to do this so much. So I just try to get it as close as I can and then match up the rest of my sides. And for this, both of our seams are going to be pressed towards the inside, towards the pinwheel. So I'm just giving that a press first and then gently opening them. Again, there's a lot of fabrics coming together, so I'm going to press the center first and then press going out. Okay, so now I'm putting this side, right sides together. I'm going to fold it on itself and then again turning it towards me so I can fold this back and really line up that center seam with the point of the triangle. Okay. All right, and then so this is also being pressed towards the pinwheel. So I'm going to press this side from the back and then open this up. And that way I don't have to worry about flipping everything around. All right, so this finishes up our 9A block, and you should have 2 of these. Great, so now we're on 9B. There's also 2 of them, so I will be making 1. Both step 1 and step 2 are flying geese, so I'm going to sew them at the same time. The first one, I need a large B triangle, which again is this spring green one. and 2 small E triangles, which are the blue. So that is step 1, the first flying geese. And step 2 needs a large E triangle. And then one side is going to have a D, small D triangle, which is the yellow. And again, just trying to see which side fits best. And the right-hand side is our C fabric, which is the orange. All right, so I'm going to sew these both at the same time. It just makes it quicker since they're both flying geese. So I'm going to start with this one, lining it up. And then for my second one over here, makes it easier and faster to sew. If you are beginner, you might just be more comfortable with staying one step at a time. I definitely was when I first began my quilting journey. I used to clip everything, and now that I'm a little bit more confident, I don't do as much. All right, so we are pressing these open. Again, making sure that I'm not accidentally twisting any of these or stretching them. And so now we're adding our left-hand side. Should again line up perfectly. My feed dog wanted to grab that one. It was kind of aggressive. But I think it's fine when we'll see as long as I fold it open that it opens okay. All right, yeah, it made my seam allowance like wiggle a tiny bit, but I don't think it's noticeable or big enough for me to have to rip it out and fix it. All right, so now we're going to combine these. Step 3 has me rotate the step 2, which is the one with our E fabric in the center, upside down. So the center is pointing down. My C fabric's on the left, my D fabric is on the right, and then our step 1 is going to the top. There's no center seam, so we can just fold these right sides together and just match up that long edge. We don't have to worry about matching up anything in the middle. Okay, and for this one, we are pressing our seam allowance down. That's towards the large E triangle, and gently opening this up. All right, and then that finishes up our step 3. So I'm just setting that to the side. Now we're on step 4. So I need a large B square for my center fabric, and it's going to have 4 E small triangles around it. So again, just opening these up making sure that I'm putting them in the direction that feels right to me. All right. So I'm going to sew 2 at a time, so always the opposites. So I always start in the top right, centering that up. And now with that small E triangle on the opposite side. Okay, and we'll gently press these open. All right, and so now for the other 2 sides. Okay, and the last E triangle. Okay, and then again, just gently pressing these from the back, opening them up. So this is our step 4. And now once this is all the way pressed, we are combining this with our block that we just made and finished up in step 3. So step 4 is going to go to the left, and our step 3 is coming over on the right hand side. And we want to make sure our B, so our green fabric, is pointing up. And so these are going to fold together, turning them towards me, and I'm just kind of folding them back, trying to match up the center seam, since we have 2 different fabrics here, to the point of the triangle on the bottom. Right, so now I am pressing my seams here. It's going towards the left, and then gently opening that up. So this is our step 5. I'm going to move it to the side. We're going to be working with a few different fabrics now. So for step 6, I need a small E triangle and a small F triangle. And so for this, I'm making one of them. If you're doing both blocks at the same time, you'll want to sew both of them, making sure that they line up. And our seams are going to be pressed to the top right. I also think this block is similar to one that we did in the first couple months. And now for step 7, we need a long F rectangle, and it's going to be sewn to the left of it. Okay, so it will look like that. It's matching up with your F fabric. Again, just putting these right sides together. And for this, our seams are going to be pressed to the left towards the large rectangle side. So gently open that up. Okay, so that is our step 7. Now we have our step 8, which we are just taking our step 7 and attaching it to the top of our step 6. So we still want to make sure that our B triangle is on the right-hand side, facing up. There are no seam allowances to match up because this is our center seam here. And, well, I guess there is this seam. So this seam allowance is going to line up with the center of this point of the triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them right sides together and then just turn it around so I can fold it back on itself and try to match it up with the center of that triangle. And because I do a full 1/4 inch seam allowance, this is the red rectangle is overhung a little bit. So I am just making sure that that is matched up. And my left hand side matches up, so it's okay. I can trim this later, or I just like to hide it in the seam allowance. Right, and so for this one here, we are pressing it down. You can see here that this flipped on itself. I'm not going to unpick it, honestly. I'm just going to try to flatten that seam right here as much as I can. And gently open it. So a lot of fabric coming together again. So just making sure that the seam is facing down. So this is our step 8. And now our last step, we need one more F triangle. I'm going to match it up here on the left-hand side. And so you can see that this red triangle here is overhung by a couple millimeters. You could trim that even. I'm just going to hide it in the seam allowance, and the same thing is going to happen with this one. It's a little bit longer, and that's just because I take a full 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to fold this right sides together. I'm going to center it and match it up with the blue fabric, and then that means my F fabric over here is hanging out a little bit, but that is okay. I'm hiding it in the seam allowance. So I'm going to use the top fabric edge to guide my 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm just making sure this doesn't flip back on itself. That's what happened with the last seam allowance. So I'm just straightening it out. All right, and so you can see here where that fabric hangs out a little bit more, but I just used this top part to guide my 1/4 inch. So you can trim that if you want. I just press it as I'm pressing everything else. So our seams are going to be pressed out to the left. So gently opening that up. Okay, and so this left, you can see it hangs over the top a little bit and on the bottom. You can trim that if you want, or just do like what I did previous and hide it in the seam allowance when we connect these all together. This finishes up our 9B block, and we are officially done with all our blocks. Next month, we have the big reveal and putting our quilts together. We have just finished up month 9. You should have 2 of section 9A and 2 of section 9B. I cannot believe we're already on our last month of Flyway. We're putting all our blocks together. Next month is the big reveal. I hope you will enjoy. I will be live with Cotton Cuts as well as most of the other ambassadors. Usually we're all live or send in a video. It is so much fun to see everybody's quilt tops coming together. Let me know in the comments if you're going to watch or if you're going to make an attempt to try to guess how all your sections come together. As always, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please consider subscribing or giving a thumbs up. It helps my channel grow. I appreciate it so much, and I'll see you at the big reveal. Bye!